evening, guys. Don't take that personal. That was on a light note. There's a friend of mine who's telling me, my friend, can I go get food? Because they want to listen to this conversation today. So yes, no, you're not getting food yet. My name is Grace Nzula, and I'm a HR consultant with Atara Solutions. You're tuned in to Get It Right with Atara Solutions, which is a webinar series that seeks to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. Sorry. And today we are very, very honored to be here, and we are looking forward to the conversation we are about to have. But of course, allow me to give a minute to my co-host to introduce himself, and then we will, of course, recognize the presence of our sign language interpreter, Madam Catherine Sidandi. She is awesome, doing an awesome job. By the way, if you have anything, training, an event that requires a sign language interpreter, please do not think twice. Call in Catherine Sidandi. She does an amazing job, and we are privileged. Thank you very much, Catherine, for your support and for being here and making us inclusive, and also being there for those who have hearing impairment. So, Richard, if you can also introduce yourself, and then we can move on to recognize our partners.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Moderator of choice, how are you doing? How are you doing? I hope you've had a wonderful day. Our listeners, how are you doing? We hope you've had a wonderful, 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 majestic day. This is your co-host, Richard J. Magoma, also known as MC Posty Flavors. We are here tonight to see how we can transform our ideas into business. Everybody wants to be a boss. How do we become bosses? Over to you, moderator of choice. We can't wait to hear from Nemo or Linnet Ndung'u, how she started her business and why should we become bosses? Over to you.
Thank you, Richard. Yes. We are going to be learning from Nemo. But allow me to just give a shout out to our partners who support us and who make us be able to bring this to you every Tuesday. If you're joining us for the first time, you're tuned in to Get It Right with Atara Solutions, which is a webinar series that seeks to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. We do this in partnership with a couple of organizations, and just quickly allow me to run through. We have Nilefront Cottages. Nilefront Cottages is, oh my God, there's somebody wanted their number last week and I forgot. I hope that you're on the call and we can share with you that today. But Nilefront Cottages are cottages located in Jinja, Uganda. It's one of the most magical places I've been to. The sunrise and sunsets from that place are amazing. And then you can just take your 7 minutes boat ride to where Lake Victoria meets River Nile. And if you're a seafood fan or a lake food fan for whatever relevance, you can please go and have fish. There's a restaurant somewhere near there where they actually fish and cook your fish as you observe. But Nilefront Cottages, oh my God, it's so beautiful there. If you're in Kenya, you can actually drive down to Jinja. It's actually 2 hours from the border. If you're in Kampala, you can just go there it's about an hour and a half to Jinja. And then you know how beautiful Jinja is. So you can stay at Nilefront Cottages, have your snack or your ice cream at Skia. Skia is a hotel. Is it Skiza? Skia. It's a restaurant located in Jinja as well, which is or rather the waiting staff are deaf. So it is an amazing place to be. So make your trip down there. Do not get stuck again wondering what you're doing with your buy or your solo location or whatever it is you want to do. Please drive down to Nilefront Cottages, or you can also fly to Entebbe and take a ride back to Jinja, or fly to Kisumu and then take your 3-hour drive to Nilefront. Either way, you're good to go. And then we have Elsamea. Elsamea is a lodge again located in Naivasha in Kenya. Now, this is another magical, serene place you need to visit. And then we have Labor Planet, and we have a Steadfast Quality Solutions. Steadfast Quality Solutions is a HR and PR consulting company located in Kampala. They are our partners. They help us and support us down in Kampala. If you're looking for somebody to do your board evaluations, board trainings, if you're also looking for a coach, my good friend Herbert Zake has been a coach for a long time. He's a Gallup's strength coach, certified that is, and has coached over 500 executives. Can you imagine? So if you go to Herbert, you can be sure you're going to trusted hands, and he will be able to unlock whatever it is that you're looking to get unstuck from, or just guide you and walk with you to becoming, to thriving and not surviving. So Steadfast Quality Solutions are located in Kampala. We have K-Square HR Services. K-Square HR Services is a HR consulting company, again, located in Kigali, Rwanda. If you're looking for HR consultants to partner or to support your business in Kigali, then you need to get in touch with K-Square HR Services. They have quite a number of trainings, and they also do HR consultancy, headed by my good friend Stephen Karangwa. And then we have Essence Park, we have Kapula Mintito, we have Panessa Training Institute, we have Wicklin, we have Profiles International. Now, Profiles International are doing an amazing job. First of all, they launched their Cross Knowledge, which is an online learning platform. They also launched Profiles Academy, which is an academy that is taking African content, because we keep Googling stuff, but most of these things cannot apply to us because our issues as Africans are quite unique. So they have a faculty that is African for African solutions, but that's not it. They are also the only people who offer Genius Emotional Intelligence Coach. So if you want to become an emotional intelligence coach, you're looking how else can you improve your skills, how else can you develop yourself, please take on the certification from Profiles International. I will give you feedback, but so far so good. I started my classes 2 weeks ago, and I am telling you, I'm in awe at how much of emotional intelligence we are not taking cognizance of, and how much more we need to learn when it comes to emotional intelligence. So Profiles International are your people. Please get in touch. I think they have a physical certification session starting in September. However, they always have online courses, which is what I'm taking, and it takes about 6 weeks, and you learn, you get to practice. It's an amazing experience, I can tell you for a fact, and I will let you know the journey as we go along. And then on Thursday this week, we have a webinar that is going to make sure that you're staying compliant. We will be discussing your legal age employment contracts management. This will happen from 2 o'clock to 5 p.m. And this will be a virtual session, so you don't have to worry about nane. If you're in Kampala as well, or Rwanda, or Tanzania, you don't have to worry about it. You can actually pay and log in. This is going for only 2,800, and we have none other than Peter Kinyanjui. Kinyanjui is an advocate and an employee relations expert. He is amazing at what he does. And then, of course, if you're an IHRM member, you get 1 CPD point. And of course, myself and Catherine Sidandi will be on the call, giving you as much support as you need be. So please join us on Thursday for only 2,800. Please, if you're an HR or you're a manager somewhere, and you think your boss is not managing your contracts well, please tell them I have discovered something somewhere that will support you. And then we can all come together and make our workplace or our work experiences better. And then I wish to invite you to the African Human Resource Summit. This will be taking place in Kigali from the 21st to 23rd of August. This will be at Kigali Convention Center. For IHRM members, there's a discounted rate of $500. For non-members, it's $700. This is going to be an event of a lifetime. You can see the lineup of speakers. We have our Madam Kuresha there. We have Rachel Dimba. We have Lawrence Dombi. We have quite a number of wonderful speakers from the entire Africa. And this is an amazing opportunity to come interact with fellow Africans, to come or other HRs in Africa, from Nigeria to Ghana to Central Africa to Northern, Eastern, everywhere, all corners of Africa will be represented on this summit. So take advantage. The discounted rates of $500 for IHRM members. Non-members will be $700. And please, let's meet in Kigali from the 21st to 23rd of August. Right. So this evening, we are privileged to be hosting a good friend of mine who we have been planning to have this conversation since 2020, but here we are today. So I'm going to allow her to introduce herself and tell us how she started her journey. And Richard will be taking away the other questions. Thank you. Karibu sana, Linnet.
Thank you so much, Grace. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm privileged to be here. Thank you for having me. My name is Linnet Ndung'u, just as Grace has told you, but commonly known as Nemo. That's my trading name. I'm the founder of Nemo Homestays, which is based in Mount Kenya region. We deal in vacation rental homes, commonly known again as Airbnbs, but we choose vacation rentals because Airbnb is a company name. I'm also a director in Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Youth in Business Director, and a director in the newly formed Nanyuki municipality. Excuse me. Yes.
Very
So
good.
my business, yeah, thank you. I think I would start with how Nemo Homestays began, which is interestingly enough, I was just sharing with Grace, I'm turning 4 years tomorrow, 4 years old. We'll be celebrating our 4-year anniversary. We started Nemo Homestays in 2020, August 7th. Yeah, and that day is very memorable for me because I remember setting up the first 2-bedroom unit in Nanyuki. This was just after I moved to Nanyuki in November 2019 after being declared redundant at my previous place of work. I think you all recall that year there was a lot of companies shutting down, yeah, and COVID was coming, so some decided to lay off in anticipation for the COVID period. So Nanyuki is home for me. So I came back home in November just to try and figure things out again. You come back and re-strategize. So I stayed here for a few months, applying for jobs. Long story short, in June of 2020 is when now I discovered the opportunity, or rather the gap in hospitality, which is in Airbnb here, because we had an event that was coming to Nanyuki. Corona just started. I think the epidemic has just struck, right? And we had an event and people are traveling from Nairobi. So of course I got called because I informed my friends that have relocated Nairobi to Nanyuki, and they kept asking me for Airbnbs, but I didn't quite understand what this was. Remember also the concept was a bit new back in 2020. So of course I did my research, understood what it was, and I found there were some players in this market in Nanyuki, but there were not too many considering the demand, the number of people who are meant to host here. So of course I was able to put up my friends in these units, and then some, of course, I had to relocate them to hotels because they didn't have the capacity. And that's when it occurred to me that there was a gap, clearly, in as much as enough hotels in Nanyuki, we needed more Airbnbs and more marketing, because I had to do a lot of digging to find out who even has one and where are they located. So that is how I actually moved my home in Nairobi, because I didn't need it. And I moved back with my parents to Nanyuki and set up my first unit. So that's where my journey started.
Very good, Linnet. That is a very good history of how you started your business. But tell us what inspired you, because when somebody starts business, there are certain analysis that you have got to do and then start a business. How did you do that analysis, that strength? We have been talking about gap strengths coach. So I'm sure you did some analysis, and then you decided, oh, I must do this business? How did you do that?
I did a bit of market research. I didn't just start, of course. So one, it was evident that there was a gap based on the number of existing properties in our market, rather in Nanyuki. Then also I consulted 2 or 3 players just to find out how do they go about it, especially also the marketing, what are their revenues. I got a friend who was willing to give me that information. Also consulted someone who was in the hotel industry at that time. Granted, we were facing challenges already because of Corona, so travel had been cut down. But at the same time, I was hopeful, and given that I had a background in customer service, because in the previous company I was in customer service, I was looking forward to be in this space where I get to interact with people and give them, exceptional experiences in this town. So yes, I did do a bit of research to find out what is required in this market, what kind of spaces, what sizes do better before I took the plunge to start the first unit in Nanyuki.
Very good, Linnet. Well, you're talking about research, and that concept is very important. Did you formulate questions? Did you ask questions from players? Did you come up with a document that was going to guide you to start the business?
No, I didn't come up with a document, but I had coffee with several players. I think that's what I'll say. I told them of my interest in setting up, and they were happy to assist, given that there were so few Airbnbs in the market, and they needed more, so that even there's also that strength in numbers. At that point, no one was thinking competition, right? So yeah, I sat down with a few and just had discussions on their experience, because I think most of them had been in the industry for about 2 years. And also one of the bigger hotels, who was my friend also, I got to sit with just to seek some advice from them. So it was not a document, but I did sit down and ask relevant questions towards just understanding the industry per se.
Very good. Those are very good insights. Now, let me ask you, there is something that we call a turning point for somebody to decide to change their course in life. Supposing you were given a job at that point, and then you had decided to do business, what could you have chosen? That turning point, what could have been the turning point for you? What was the turning point for you?
I'd say, in fact, my previous employer called me back just after I had started. I think I was 4 months in, so I was still learning the ropes of the business. It had proven profitable despite being a Corona period. But at the same time, when you compare to the consistency that comes with an income at the end of the month, so granted, I was torn. I had that dilemma. I didn't know, should I, stay with the business, stay on course, or should I go back to, the consistency of, your salary at the end of the month? But I looked at the vision that I had for my business and the potential. I had just started out. It had proven profitable. So I think I just start with the numbers and did pros and cons of staying on course and going back to employment. And I think the business case won, right? It was a scary moment for me because I knew probably no one else would come knocking with such an offer. And here I am starting with only 1 2-bedroom apartment in Nanyuki. But I'm glad. Fast forward, it was the right decision.
Very good. Now, let me take you back a little bit.
Yeah.
And why I want to take you back a little, had you ever thought of starting a business? COVID was a great predictor and determiner in these things, but in your life, pre-COVID, had you ever thought of starting business?
I had tried my hand in business, in supplies. I had done something in supplies within this town. Of course, that didn't last long because I got employed at some point. My experience before was a bit challenging. And it was in supplies of goods, right? So even when I was starting the Airbnb, we used the word kuchomeka. I had experienced that in the business before. So I was a bit worried, but I guess I had faith. I was now being led by faith. And then at that point, we had very few people who were even willing to hire. Kazi ilikuwa you're sending CVs back to back to people, you're calling all your uncles, relatives, everyone who is employed, and you're not even getting regret emails. So when this opportunity presented itself and I could see a future with it, it was really a no-brainer.
Very good, very good. Then you had already started experiencing yourself in business. Now the question is, once you had your first unit, did you start saying that now I have a unit, let me come up with a vision, mission, and core values that will drive me towards getting the second, the third unit? No, you start building up a bigger picture.
Ideally, that is what is meant to happen when you start a business. But all I knew is that my dream was to expand from the one apartment to owning several and hopefully, multiples, even in other cities. But at that point, I wanted to focus on making sure the first one works, that I truly understand the basics before now I expand or grow. So the picture was there. I was thinking, how do I own my second, my third, my fourth? But understanding the basics is what now formed a good launch pad to now set up others.
Maybe I could jump in and ask. So you've talked about some research, you've talked about the drive to wanting to continue, but did you get a mentor? Did you get a coach, or what kept you going, really?
Yes, I did. I did have a coach. His name is Edwin. If he's here, hi Edwin. He had an Airbnb in Nanyuki, and he told me about the industry. And when I asked, he was more than willing to share information. So I think he helped me a lot in as far as acquiring information about this. Of course, I also Googled, I went to platforms where they were running vacation rental homes just to understand even the industry standard, what is expected of you, given that this Nanyuki being a smaller town as compared to the bigger cities. So I wanted to make sure that our properties are up to par.
That is good. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Richard. Go ahead.
Once you've decided to have business, there is the question of where do I get financing? Where did you get your first financing from?
I think one, getting financing for a new idea is a challenge. And remember, Airbnb was not very popular. The idea of vacation rental was not very popular back in the day. So as I'd mentioned, it had just been declared redundant. So we had gotten some, those terminal dues that you get when you're leaving your employment. So when I moved my house, which was originally my house in Nairobi, I used those funds to improve the property because, your house is not like an Airbnb. There are some things you need to improve on. So yes, funding was a challenge. I couldn't approach a bank to do that at that particular point. But I also got some monies from a relative just to boost the business. But in as far as access to finance from mainstream financial institutions, at that point, it was difficult.
Oh, very good. Knowing the source of finance is very important for business. Now, once you start your business, you are the MD, you are the marketing manager, you are the branding manager, you are everything. But at some point, you start seeing now, how do you choose these people? How did you start choosing people now who will do, then you can focus on strategic ends of the business?
Oh, yes, Rich. When I started, I was the everything. At some point, I used to feel like I'm losing my mind because then I remember I've not marketed today, I've not cleaned clothes. And you know, when you're starting, you don't have that kind of capital that you will employ a team to support you. So I think I hired my first assistant a year later. So I had been doing everything on my own. And that was based on the need. We grew. So in fact, after setting up the first unit in August, 2 months later, I set up a one-bedroom unit. And that meant that I cannot attend to these two units and at the same time attend to the calls, do my marketing. At that point, I was using Canva and then also coordinate all these things that are happening online. So at the point where I got an assistant, and the first person was actually a housekeeper because I needed the help with cleaning the unit. That was based on her experience. It was a lady who was working in hospitality here in a hotel. So once she told me she had that background, I figured she's qualified to come and work for us, or rather for me. And then shortly after is when now I got someone. I wouldn't call her a personal assistant, but she helped me with most of the roles because we were basically doing it together. But that came way after, a year later, right? So, of course, it's based on their experience and qualification. Yeah, experience and qualification.
You've mentioned marketing several times, and it is one of the bedrocks of any business. How do you do your marketing so that you can stay afloat or you can flourish?
Nemo Homestays heavily leverages on technology. We have actually outsourced our digital marketing to another company. Yes, we've done it for 1 year. We did it on ourselves. And then now it got to a point because of the increase in the number of properties that we are running, we required to present better content and even the quality. And so we brought an expert on board. That company basically manages our digital strategy from videography, the camera works, the pictures you see us advertising, our social media, our website. It is very, very important to be if you're in hospitality industry, to have an online presence. Yeah. So we have outsourced that service. We work closely with that company because you cannot survive in this industry without an online presence and a good one at that. Yeah, so when I started with Canva because I didn't have an option at that point. We have grown to 66 properties currently. So for 60, that is basically a hotel. So to run that number of units and to give them the kind of audience that they require, you have to have a proper digital strategy.
Very good. You've mentioned the issue of marketing. You've mentioned the issue of talent acquisition, the issue of product knowledge. Given that you didn't have background in real estate, I don't know if it's real estate, in hospitality industry, you didn't have, initially you didn't, when you were in customer care, you didn't have. How do you gain new knowledge so that you can become better yourself? You know, building yourself is important as your business. How do you build yourself so that you can thrive?
Okay. So I will take on short courses online, hospitality-based courses. But when I started, it was on the ground, from what you're doing, experience. And I think for a lot of business people, you start with hands-on experience, and then now you establish the need for different areas, the training needs. Then now you train yourself, you improve your skills. So it was first hands-on experience based on what I was going through right here on the ground, even the licenses. You start your business and you realize, oh, there's this license I'm supposed to pay. So you start educating yourself to a point where we started offering consultation services for anyone who's willing to set up, because we've been through it all now. I think we can write a book about it. Yeah.
Now that you've spoken about writing a book, when you read 66 units, you really need to professionalize everything, documentation, auditing, and stuff like that. Do you have a business plan, or you're just running it the way you started with the first unit?
I wouldn't call it we have something close to a business plan, which we usually revise every beginning of the year, just so that we are all on the same page, especially as a team. We aim at running the business professionally, and we have incorporated teams. At the moment, we have a sales team, we have a housekeeping team, and we have the digital team. So we work together to come up with a business plan that's in line with the vision of the company, right? But do we have a solid document that I can refine, peruse? Well, not so much. Yeah. Maybe eventually I should talk to you and then we can come up with one.
Very good, because you need also to go for holiday. You will need the business to run on its own fuel.
Yes, yes.
It need processes, it will need procedures. And now this will make us dive into the setbacks. Any business that does not have setbacks has not really laid down the foundation of its strength. Any setbacks that you've had so far, for example, clients not paying or staff stealing or something, what are some of the setbacks you have encountered in the business, so that people prepare for it and not say business is rosy, I want to be my own boss, but they don't know that business is not a walk in the park?
Yeah. Business is definitely rewarding, but it comes with its challenges, just like any other business I'd want to believe. One of the main challenges we are having is our licenses. We have some licenses that are quite steep. In all honesty, there's one we pay 27,000 per unit per year. So you can imagine at 66 units, how much you'll be paying for the licenses, right? When it comes to payments by clients, it's not so much a challenge for us because we have employed a management system that captures these payments even upon inquiry. Once you inquire, we're able to reserve using a deposit, and then there's a system for also collection of the balance. So that's not like a major challenge that we're facing at the moment. Then another one that I think we're still facing even now is access to finance. Our banks are yet to come up with innovative products for this kind of industry. You'll find that they will finance a hotel, they will finance a wholesale shop, but as an Airbnb player, I think they get lost on how to approach this whole aspect. Do they ask you for the leases? Because at the end of the day, you don't own these homes, you're leasing them in most cases. So we still have a long way to go in as far as innovative products for financing the Airbnb industry. Then, of course, you saw what was happening in the media last year? There was, we made headlines for a bit with a few incidences, and so we had to curb that. And just as the government required that we now ask all our clients to provide identification and write them down if it's at the guard house. So that was a challenge at first because people were afraid. There was all this negative, vibe going on about Airbnb and what is happening in those spaces. But those were very unique incidences. I've been running this business for 4 years, and I can confidently say we've not had such challenges, and they are not unique to Airbnbs. I want to believe that we've had such incidences in hotels. We just didn't have anyone highlighting them. So, during that period, there was a bit, of course, the sales were a bit lower. We recorded lower occupancy rates. And also, our business can be seasonal. Just like the hotel industry, it can be seasonal. We have peak season, we have low season. Just the other day, we were having the Mandamanos. And especially given that we are on this other side of the country, and our clients have to go through Nairobi. So anytime there is a Mandamano in Nairobi, it means on this end, not unless our clients are flying into Nanyuki airstrip, we will not have clients. So those are some of the challenges we are facing, but we are flexible, we are adaptable. It doesn't mean we're going to shut down. Yeah.
Very good. My good friends, Grace, the model of choice, is a trainer, is a consultant, and I'm very sure in her plan, she said, I must get money every single day or after every week. And probably if she doesn't get money or a client, probably she will be demoralized or stressed. Now, what makes you strong? What makes Linnet strong when those moments where your goals have not been achieved?
Yeah.
so that you can wake up in the morning and become better.
Okay. I believe even just in Grace's case, she's had good days. And in life, it's a balance of both. You have some really good seasons and you have low seasons. So the bad season should not make you rule out your business, right? Consistency pays off. Feedback from clients, because we have a feedback collection mechanism where clients are able to tell us what their experience was with us and what they liked about it. So sometimes when we are in low season, I go back to the reviews and I remind myself why I'm doing what I'm doing. And it keeps us, it pushes us. We have all these people we have employed, the team we have employed. These are people who are looking up to us. So you cannot give up. You have to keep pushing. Yeah.
Very good. You've got to keep on pushing. You must have those people who inspire you. Do you have a board of inspirers, people who inspire you when business is going, oh, so that you can rant a little bit, so that you can talk a little bit, or those people inspire you, those people, do you have such people?
Yes, I do. A lot of my close friends are actually in business. And we check on each other, especially when it's cross-cutting. If you're in non-essential services, you find sometimes if there's an issue affecting hospitality, it will affect someone who's in, say, events, right? So yes, we do call each other, we inspire each other, we encourage each other, and we face touch seasons. Yes, and we ride them out. We always do.
Very good. What is the competitive advantage of Nemo homestays? Because if you go to Nyanyuki, I normally go to Nyanyuki once in a while. So what will make me choose Nemo homestays? What is your, just like M-Pesa kiosk, they are the same, they are doing the same service. What will make me choose Nemo
Two
homestays?
reasons. We
Yes.
offer more than accommodation.
All
For us,
right.
we just don't offer you a bed to sleep on and then you're back to Nairobi. We ensure, given that we are your first point of contact, you'll have an enriched experience here. We give you activities and attractions. The minute you book with us, we'll always inform you of the activities that you can partake in our town. This I speak about Olpajeta, the game drives. You can do a hike to Mount Kenya. You can do your picnic at Old Moses. Also, we give you meal plans because granted, a lot of people who are coming to Airbnbs also look at saving the cost of booking a hotel. But you don't want to come and cook. You've come on holiday with your wife, with your family. Again, you don't want to come and now start dealing with sufurias. So we strike that balance. Of course, our units are self-catering. You can choose to have the self-catering option. Also, if you don't want that option, we give you a meal plan, which we call savory stays, savory stays package. So that has set us apart from other Airbnbs. And given our capacity, we are able to do that across the 66 units. Then we've also leveraged, sorry?
It's all right, go on.
Yeah, we've leveraged heavily on technology. We have a website, which we usually share with our clients, which is quite comprehensive. So anyone who's interested in a property with us, we just don't send you one unit. You've said you want a one bedroom in Nanyuki. We'll present you with 15 options. Then you get to choose. So what we have is variety. Also, we are working on an app, bookings platform, an app which now will incorporate all these packages and the homestays that we are offering. We also work with hotels. At the moment, working with Tufaha Resorts and the Warwick Hotel. So on top of our homestays or our vacation rentals, you can also book a hotel through us. We want to be, we want to offer all solutions as long as it's in the hospitality arena. So yeah, I think that sets us apart.
Very, very good, Linnet. Grace, moderator of choice, any question that we might be forgetting? Oh, Grace.
I think one of the questions I'd ask is, what would you tell people who are looking to go into business, Nemo?
I will encourage them to go for it. If you have the right idea, you've done your research, there's a need in the market, because with business, you have to be solving a problem. You can, I believe that's the way business should be done. So if you're convinced that the idea you have is going to come and solve someone's problem, please go for it.
All
Very
right.
good.
Yeah, and probably maybe the follow-up question to that was, how do you know that your idea is the right one?
I think it goes beyond a gut feeling. Because a lot of people have an idea that they think would work, but extensive research is important. And just as you've said, the business plan, I think most people, I didn't start with a business plan, but it is important to start with one. Then you're able to tell, is this idea viable, right? Check on your competition. What are they offering? Are they offering a similar product? How can you improve on it? Because then you can't come and replicate other products. So yeah, I think that's what I would advise anyone who's planning to get into business in whichever industry.
Linnet, let me ask you now a personal question. When you do personality analysis, you will get business people are distinguished by certain traits. What are these traits that say that this is Linnet? This is Linnet. This is what will throw you into the deepest end of the swimming pool, so that people can learn, yes, when I'm a risk taker, I can be able to be in business. When I am able to spot opportunities, I can get into. So what distinguishes you from other people, the traits?
I am bold. I am daring. And I am okay with being told no. The worst thing that will happen is a no. If I'm looking for investors or I'm looking for opportunities, the worst thing you will tell me is a no. So I go for it. And yes, I'm a risk taker. I'm not risk averse. I know I push myself even when things seem not to be working out. I always go for it.
What other thing besides being a risk taker and the person who goes for it?
I am a hard worker.
Yes,
I'm a hard worker and I'm resilient. Yes, I'd like to say that I'm a tough cookie. It takes a lot before you break me. I think having been in this industry for the 4 years and now being also in, I would say, like a small limelight in my town, so you get to face quite a number of challenges, even in business. And I mean, as a woman, sometimes you may feel like giving up because, you you just keep pushing and you give it your all with no reservations. Yeah.
very good. Grace, any question?
Richard, I think we can take questions from the audience. I see one on the chat.
All right. Yeah, I've seen that question. Yeah, Wafula is saying that Nemo is forthright, a smart cookie, bold and daring. Kindly ask her if she could ever consider training others like many of those successful entrepreneurs. Now, that is the other question. Do you give mentorship programs or coaching programs to people who are getting into business, not necessarily into real estate or hospitality? Do you train people?
Yes, we do. We offer consultation sessions to anyone now getting into hospitality. Also, I'm in Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So through that platform, we have mentorship programs, especially for the youth. So in Laikipia, anyone who's looking to do business can always come to our office and we'd be happy to do that.
Why should I be a member of Kenya National Compass, by the way?
There are many
What are the
advantages. One, it's a BMO, Business Membership Organization. It offers you networking opportunities. You get to network with other business people that normally you wouldn't have access to because they are members of KNCCI. Advocacy, if you're facing any challenge in your business, it can represent you because then it's better to go through a registered organization such as KNCCI than present your, request maybe to county government as an individual, as a small business. So there's a networking advocacy, which is a big plus for anyone who's in business. right? So it's really helped me. The fact that I've been in KNCCI, I once faced a huge challenge with licensing, and KNCCI stepped in. They helped me, and I was able to overcome that through the advocacy program. And that's how I eventually ended up being a youth in business director in KNCCI.
Very good. Barbara Irakiza is asking, I am in hospitality industry in Southwest Uganda. I am at a takeoff stage, but it is taking forever to open for my hotel. What advice do you give me to pull it off?
Okay. When she says taking forever to take off, has she, I don't know if she's online and she can respond, has she opened her doors or it's still in idea stage?
Barbara, you can clarify where are you at?
Oh, okay. I've seen that. Patience. Patience, because I think sometimes we hope to open our doors and start having our return on investment immediately. But that's in an ideal situation, that's the way it's supposed to be. But unfortunately, the world does not work like that. So you need to be patient, even as you start off any idea. Give it some time, learn the business, learn the ropes, and before you decide to give up, first give it some time to morph, to understand your industry, and as you continue learning it. So I can see she says rooms ready, got some guests already. Okay, then that's progress. That shows already that your product is appealing to your target audience.
Very good. Pio Mola is asking, business did not pick up immediately. How did you sort your bills while starting?
Sorry, he's saying his business?
Your business did not pick up immediately. How did you sort your bills?
Well, with my company, when I started it, it was just a 2-bedroom unit, right? So the cost of running the business was pretty low. It was just one house. And fortunately, it did peak because there was also, conversely, yes, there was less people traveling to this region, but at the same time, there were people running away from Nairobi to come and, stay in the, less populated areas. So I was quite lucky that when I started the unit that I did, it was quite busy. In fact, I had an occupancy rate of 70% in the month I started. So I was able to pay off my bills. Yeah.
Very good. Some people say that luck is when preparation meets. You are prepared for it. There is a question by Cecilia 10 Nimo. What marketing techniques have worked for you? I have 2 units in Nairobi and sometimes it's very tough.
She's asking about the niche, yeah?
Yeah, she's asking about your marketing techniques because it's very tough. Yes.
Okay. So we do a lot of social media marketing, the Instagram, the Twitter, the Facebook, LinkedIn as well, and our website. So we boost our website a lot, online, sponsor it. Also, I need to mention this. We have a newsletter that we have an edition that we release every quarter that covers basically all our apartments, in which we providing the units just for clients to read. So that also boosts our marketing efforts. So social media marketing is very important because I can, as she said, it's 2 or 3 units. Maybe you may not be able to do mainstream marketing, which is the billboards and TV, but you can be able to do social media. And consistency is very important because sometimes we think with social media, oh, I only got 2 likes today. It means that my content is not good. You just have to do it every day. And I think this example has been used by everyone. Coca-Cola is marketing to date, yet they're the biggest, one of the biggest brands we know in the country. It has to get to a place where if I think Airbnb in Nairobi, I think about you. So if someone thinks about Airbnb in Nanyuki, I market regardless, Monday to Sunday. I don't even have special days where I take off. You just make sure you're consistent in your marketing and also, of course, make sure that the content that you're putting in the market is good quality. You've used a professional photographer, the videography work is good. Yeah.
Very good. Now that you've mentioned you don't rest, I'm wondering how you balance the work and life. How do you manage the life and the work integration?
I think that's what the beauty of being in business is. You can take a day off on a Monday, right? So you just find a way to delegate some roles because at the end of the day, you're a human being and you need to take some time off. We have a team, currently we have a team of 25 people in total. So there are some tasks I'm able to delegate and, ease into it. I've trained my team very well. So I don't have to be there to micromanage every role. So I'm able to take some time off. And, even with social media marketing, you can always schedule your posts. Yeah,
I am sure that people who have their resignation letters, and Steve wants to know, how do you advise people who have those resignation letters in their drawers, their entrance? What can you tell them?
I think before you take that plunge into deciding that you want to be an entrepreneur, it's very important to weigh the idea that you have in mind, right? It's not all rosy. I just, I know when I sit here 4 years down the line, it sounds like something I've figured out 100%. But granted, entrepreneurship is very, very rewarding. It has its challenges. Before you take that plunge, be very sure that's the direction you want to take. Do some research on whatever concept you want to implement or idea you want to do business with, and you will need to be patient. Again, I think this is something I tell even people who are setting up Airbnbs. You will not get your ROI in the first 10 days. So have you done some financial planning where you can cover yourself for a few months before your idea takes off? So I guess those are some of the questions and hard questions you need to ask yourself before you resign. Yeah.
Very, very good. We have Wamboi Njau who is saying that we were laid off together. She's confirming.
That is
How should
true.
we prepare for such moments? Now that you are having a better eyesight on such moments of redundancy, how should we prepare for such moments?
Well, truly, I don't know if I can say there's any kind of preparation that is foolproof. Redundancy is not something we look forward to, but it's important, just as we are told, to have some savings. Make sure that you can pay your rent and feed your family for the next 6 months. And always know that at the end of the day, as long as it's not your company, that probably could happen at any point in your life. Yeah, so it's good to be ready to have a side hustle, or, well, I don't like the word side hustle, but you can have a side business that you have that complements your income, so that if that day ever comes and you have to you're laid off, it doesn't affect you as much. And of course, definitely, I went for therapy, a little bit of that after the redundancy, because you want to learn how to cope again with life without giving up. Yeah.
One of the most important strategies in business, or as you driving your enterprise, is to prepare for succession management. Are you preparing for succession management? Because we are told to prepare for every eventuality in business. Is there anything that you're doing to say that this is the person who can be able to assist me in running the business?
That's definitely in the pipeline. We are clocking 5 years next year, and that's when we're going to have also the strategic plan. It's one of the things I had highlighted that needs to be covered. I already have an idea on how and whom I would work with on the succession plan. So yes, it's in the pipeline at the moment.
Very, very, very good. Grace, any question that you have? Yeah, Wamboy Njao is saying she's very happy for you.
Thank you.
Moses is saying 100% agreed. Nemo, can you survive for at least 10 months with zero income? That is in relation when income is not coming. That is Wafula Luasi Naptola, who is saying, Nemo, you are a winner and a role model.
Thank you, Wafula.
Okay. And when they say that you're a role model, it means that you are a risk taker, you are really resilient, and so many things that are related to business. You've done very well, Judith Murioki. That is what Judith Murioki. Mine not answered. Lead, let me check. Lead Philly, let me check which question that has not been answered. Let me check which one. Grace, can you be able to see it? Yes. Before you settled on real estate. Yeah, I can see it, lead. Before you settled on real estate, you had so many options, just like you have so many possibilities. Did you have a wide range of choices and then you landed? How did you choose? Because I'm sure there are so many ideas that were floating around.
Yeah. Yes, I did. I had several ideas in my mind. I remember even training myself on how to make yogurt so that I can be selling milk and ugali to construction workers in my town. At some point, I even wanted to do a milk ATM. But I think having the house in Nanyuki and in Nairobi was easier for me to set up, and all the support that I had from the mentors who had been in that industry, it was easier for me to set up an Airbnb than get into the milk ATM business or the making yogurt. So I knew if I took this route for the milk ATM, I'm completely clueless. I am getting into an industry that I had very little information on. And with Airbnb, I had a support network and also access to information was easier than with this other route. Also, when I looked at my turnovers with the milk ATM and turnovers with this business, which one would support me better? This was a better idea.
Very good. Natasha is asking, who does your laundry? Linnet towards, guess probably she wants to become a partner. I don't know. Who does your laundry? The other.
Laundry, we currently do it in-house. Every one of our properties has washing machines and we have a housekeeping team. So we are currently doing it in-house. Yeah, but if she would want us to talk further, I'll share my contact with Grace and then I can DM her.
Very good. One of the things that you've mentioned, you do marketing, and of course in marketing you will receive feedback and you will receive some harsh or negative feedback. Do you go around your units personally to inspect this? Do you inspect yourself so that you can see if the standards are being kept, or you delegate that responsibility?
No. Yes, we do have a housekeeping supervisor, but I do weekly spot checks twice a week on random days. Yeah. It's very important because we grow based on feedback, and it's important to see what our clients are experiencing. Given the number of the units that we have, I may not be able to go through each and every unit every week because then I've also assigned that role to someone else. But I do random spot checks to make sure that everything is up to par. And yes, so that if a client comes and gives me feedback about a particular unit, I'm already aware if there's an issue. And if there's no issue, I'm able to address it even better.
Very good. When money starts coming in, money is very interesting.
Yeah.
When you start having a lot of it, how do you manage it? Profits. How do you decide, well, this is money I should go here, this money? What gives you the ideas? That is a question by Dennis Karamadi.
Based on the business needs. Currently, as I've mentioned, at the moment, we are not able to access finance from mainstream financial institutions. So what we do with our profits, we look at the business as a whole. Are there areas that need improvement? Are there areas of growth? because based on the fact that we are still growing, we're still trying to expand into the Mount Kenya region. So we use some of the profits to grow the business, and more so in technologically wise. That's why you're hearing about the app, and yes, that's how we intend to use some of the money to get. Of course, we do save for rainy days and all, and for the seasonal changes when you have low season, so that you can ensure that during low season you're able to cover the business costs. Yeah.
Now that you've mentioned, I remember there is a time Grace brought one of the CEOs of Optiven, and the CEO told us that you must pay yourself first. How do you pay yourself? And how do you say how much is it?
Yes, it's important to pay yourself. Yes, I do.
Mm.
Yes.
How do you decide how much you want?
Well, in an ideal world, you'd have a constant figure that you pay yourself at the end of the month. But in my case, if I'm being honest, I pay myself based on the performance of that month. Because you see, in business is month on month basis. Yes, you can tell on average how it's going to perform, but then the specifics we didn't know we would have floods in the last month. So of course, I pay myself based on the performance of that particular month.
So it fluctuates. Very good. Then we have a question by Harriet Musoke. I have a 20-year-old daughter who wants to pursue hospitality diploma. What schools do you recommend? I don't know if you have an answer to that, but most likely you have. Do you have any school that you can recommend in Nairobi for hospitality?
Definitely, Utalii is a good school. Mount Kenya University is a good school. Strathmore University is a good school. Yeah, I think just needs to check out what the courses are offering. She can visit the universities just to understand the different programs. Yeah, I know Strathmore offers a good program for hospitality.
Very, very, very good. Very good, very good. There's somebody, George Ngoya, he has raised his hand. I don't know if it is by accident or it is deliberate. George, is it a question you want to ask? George, your hand is up. Probably it's by accident. Very good. What gives you the joy of this business?
Reviews. Yes, we get a lot of positive reviews from our clients. Those make my days, even when it's low season. I had mentioned that I go back to them sometimes. They keep me going. I'm also aware that a lot of people do not understand Mount Kenya region. When it comes to traveling, we are limited to Mombasa, Nairobi, Naivasha. Yet, Mount Kenya region remains unexplored. I take joy from knowing that I was the first person to introduce you to Alpajeta. Your memories of Alpajeta are somehow linked to Nimo Homestays. Your memories of summiting Mount Kenya, because we host a lot of also international clients and local tourists who summit the mountain and also stay with us, organizing that package for them. And when they take pictures, some of them will even take pictures outside the properties. That gives me joy, knowing that you will create memories and lasting memories with us.
Very good. Moses is saying, Hongera Nimo, great sharing, keep it up. There is JK who is wondering, how can they join Kenya Chamber of Commerce? Probably, Grace, you should think of bringing somebody from Kenya Chamber of Commerce so that we can be able to learn what we can, how to join and what benefits. How can they join? How can somebody join Kenya Chamber of Commerce?
KNCCI is a business membership organization. We have chapters in every county. Most of the offices are domiciled in Huduma centers. So I can share our contact for Laikipia chapter. If you're in Nairobi, I'm sure I'm able to also assist you on that. But it's business registration. So there's, of course, an amount, a subscription fee that you'll pay towards that. And yeah, that's it. You become a member of KNCCI. And once we have AGMs, meetings, networking forums, you'll be invited.
Natasha is saying that you have done very well. She's very proud of you. And there is a question by Jacinta. And at some point you mentioned about it, that there was a bad press about the business that you are in. How do you manage security? How do you manage the issue of security so that you can keep a good name?
Yeah, we work with partners, security partners, especially for, the guards. So at every single one of our properties, we have security guards, 24-hour security surveillance. Then we also have a good partnership with the local, with the police stations locally. And then we take the details of each and every one of our clients who books with us. So the minute you book with us, we'll get your ID details and where you're coming from, where you're visiting from. So I think that kind of verification process, our management system also sends you an OTP that verifies that your phone is actually yours. So through that process is so specific, it becomes a bit difficult to have some of those security challenges because sometimes based on experience, if you've had a client who you don't even know where they're coming from and their details, then it can pose a security risk even to the other clients. So our system is very thorough.
Yeah, I think the next question that has been asked by Natasha, you are handling it, but you can repeat it nevertheless. She's asking, how do you bad reviews when someone says, don't go there?
Bad reviews are reviews too, and it's feedback. So based on that feedback, I actually handle all the reviews, whether online, on WhatsApp, I'm the one who responds because I want to know what areas of improvement we need or where we are doing well so that we can continue doing the same thing. So when we receive bad reviews, we always make sure to contact the client to now fully understand the issue that they experienced with us. And we always act on it. Some may not be immediate based on what the feedback has been given, and some we act on them immediately. If the review is given during a client's stay, then it's usually even better because we can course correct. If the review is given post-stay, then we reach out and we are able to handle it and see how to even host the client again. Of course, that's where you throw in the complimentary nights. And yeah, make sure that they have a better experience with us. But we have very few negative reviews online. And I speak that we're a bit of authority. You can check it out.
I love that conviction. Grace, anything before Linnet does the parting shots? Anything and announcements?
Richard, I'm busy taking notes because I have known Ndung'u for probably as long as she has run those BNBs when she had one unit.
Yes.
And I think today is the one I am listening to the entire story.
Yes.
So I'm busy taking notes and figuring out how to improve or diversify Atara Solution Services. But I see George Ngoya. George Ngoya, you wanted to say something?
No, I think it was by accident, most likely because I've asked him.
Okay, there's a question by Lead Phil. How do you handle booking cancellation and refunds?
Okay. Booking cancellation, and we have a policy for booking cancellation and refunds. And this is very important. Even upon booking, every client should know your booking cancellation policy. Do not tell them when they're canceling that, oh, this is our cancellation policy. So when we have a call center, at the point of inquiry where you contact our sales representatives, once they send you the options and you're ready to book, as you're making your deposit, it's usually attached with the cancellation policy so that you know what to expect in case, something happens and you're not able to make it. It is quite friendly. It's moderate. And yes, I feel it's important for anyone in hospitality to make the cancellation policy known on booking, not after the whole process has been done and now the client is to check in tomorrow. That's when you're telling the client, oh, we have a cancellation policy, we cannot refund your money. So that's how we are handling it, and it helps us because the client is always aware on what to expect.
There's a question that has popped up. Do you have the same units, or you have, this is for those people who do not have a lot of money, this is for mid-level, this is for those people who have 2.5 billion? You have?
Yes. Yes, we
Such
do. So
Mm.
what we are selling is affordable luxury, and we give variety. We have units from as low as 2,500 shillings to 100,000 a night. So it depends on where your budget is at. So we try
Wow.
to take care of every kind of traveler coming to this region. So you won't say Nemo is expensive. No, what's your budget? And we will take care of you at that budget that you have. So we usually present you with our website so that you check where your budget is at, where you fit, and then we provide you with that particular solution.
Wafula is saying he loves affordable luxury. Affordable, but very beautiful and pretty and presentable. Very good. What are your parting shots?
I would want to encourage anyone who's starting out on business, whichever industry that they're starting out on. I want to encourage them to keep on doing it, to be consistent, to be resilient, and not to be scared of licenses, because that's something I have seen with a lot of practitioners. You find that we try to evade licenses and taxes, which end up giving us a headache along the way. You want to operate your business in peace without anyone knocking on your door. So yeah, that is one thing I think I should have mentioned earlier. There are licenses that Airbnbs pay for. Educate yourself on what that is and pay for those, and then now start running your business. Resilience for me has worked up. Resilience and consistency, even through challenging times, which sometimes are highlighted on national news. Yeah, so for me, it would be those two.
I don't know how fast you can put the name of your website. There is Sebastian Okot who wants to know the website. And then the last question, although at the parting shot should have been the last, but because it's an important question by William, how do you manage the shading coining syndrome? Not getting into any or many could be money-making solutions where you are seeing so many things that you can do, but they could be distracting you. Yes, Sebastian, there is the website. So the last question then should be, how do you avoid the shiny coin syndrome?
I think one, because I remain focused on what I'm doing. I understand the nature of my business. Shining, yes, they could be very shining and promising. You find that people will tell you you'll get 1 million within a week in this kind of industry. But what does it take? So I think it's important to just understand that it's not every business that actually becomes fruitful at the end of the day. And once you understand that, and the patience of growth, organic growth for me. So these other shining objects, because I mean, we've faced them along the way. You've had these pyramid schemes. It keeps you on course. Yeah, so I guess that's how I've stayed away from trying my hand in too many things and spreading my efforts thin. And now, you end up losing focus on what you're doing. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Barbara said she's going to visit Kenya. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You're welcome, Barbara. This has been Getting It Right by Atala Solutions, where we demystify issues related to business and entrepreneurship. Now we can appreciate Linnet, who has given us insights on how to start a business and keep on going. We can use any emoji to appreciate Linnet, or otherwise Nemo, for a well done job. This has been your co-host, Richard J. Magoma, also known as MC Positive Flavors. It has been a delightful evening, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it here. Let us meet on Tuesday for another lovely and wonderful and informative session. Thank you so much, Catherine Shidandi, for always keeping it here and appreciating that there is the issue of diversity and inclusion in our podcast. Thank you so much. Good night. Grace, unless you have something to say, thank you so much for preparing this wonderful conversation. Good night.
Thank you very much, Richard. I did not hear Nemo's parting shot.
Oh, she did.
Oh, okay.
Mine
Yeah,
was
she
short and sweet.
Oh, so short and sweet. Okay, fine. I will catch up with that one. Sorry,
Okay.
today I'm running two things at a go. So, yeah, but nonetheless, I hope that you guys have learned. Thank you, Richard, for stepping in and being there. Nemo, thank you very much for sharing your story, for letting us in on your journey to entrepreneurship, and we wish you the very best. Keep growing and keep glowing. Asante
you.
sana.
And I think that you must have been chewing mabuyu from.
Kabla Mintito. Cashew
Yes.
nuts. I need to go to Mombasa soon.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you all, and you're beautifully and wonderfully made.
Yes. And we'll be here next Tuesday for another session. Please follow us on Instagram, Atara Solutions. Like our Facebook page, Atara Solutions. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Get It Right with Atara Solutions. See you next week, same time, same place for another wonderful conversation. Have yourselves a good night.
Good night.